Hey guys, my name's Drogs. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a painting channel for miniatures. It's my hobby and my favorite way to relax. I'm still pretty new at it. I've dabbled on and off for a couple of years after COVID started, but I haven't had a setup really dedicated for the space until now. So I'm in a new house that I moved into over the summer, and as I'm getting things settled down, I'm gonna start painting more and more. So I wanted to create a painting channel, and I was gonna start by doing just a live stream painting, but apparently they don't let you do that until you have at least 50 subscribers. You're not allowed to live stream at all, and until you get 1,000, they don't let you live stream without pretty severe restrictions. So I'm just going to record this as a video for now and see how it goes. Just get started putting some content out there. I do plan on starting an Instagram as well, and eventually putting up all of my painted miniatures that I've done so far over the last couple of years. Slowly roll those out. But for now, I'm just kind of working on a box of minis that are I got cheap off Amazon that are going to be kind of easing myself back in. And right now I'm working on this lion guy, kind of a D&D character. Just got him base coated. And I got these 5 guys down here primed up and ready to go when I finish this guy. All right. So that's pretty much it. So again, I'm pretty new at all of this. I do not consider myself an expert by any means. There are far, far, far better painters out there. I do not plan necessarily on doing a ton of like tutorial videos or try to teach people how to become better painters. I don't think that's really going to be my strong point. I probably have another 10 years of painting to do before I hit the level where I feel like I should be teaching others. But if you want to come and join me as I learn on the way, I'm not terrible. I do come up with decent stuff once in a while. But I do plan on doing a lot of live painting videos on this channel. I like board games, so I mainly come into the miniatures kind of from that side of the hobby. I'm definitely much more of a painter than I am like a war gamer or anything like that. Although I do enjoy learning about war games, I don't really play them. For right now. So I do plan on doing kind of board game videos. Probably going to be solo play of me playing some different games. I'm going to start with Jaws of the Lion, I think. I'm going to do a full campaign of that solo. I also have a bunch of Zombicide stuff, and I'll probably go through a lot of those, as well as Massive Darkness, which is my favorite board game right now. Although I haven't played it a ton because I haven't painted it yet. And I was kind of waiting to get my skill up to a level that I was happier with before I painted them, because I really like some of those models. I also was hoping to get into some of the solo war games, or yeah, I guess solo war games. So like Rangers of Shadow Deep, which is from the same guy who makes Frostgrave, but it's more of a solo game from my understanding of the rule set. And then 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, 5 Parsecs from Home, Forbidden Psalm, stuff like that. But I do not, as of yet, have the miniatures for those games to make that really viable. It's certainly not painted. I don't have a lot of generic miniatures at this point. It's mostly painted board game stuff. Like my Zombicide is most of what I have painted. So I will try to move in that direction eventually. So it'll be a lot of solo Let's Plays, and it'll be a lot of not necessarily like tutorial painting videos, but just kind of hang out, watch me paint videos for anyone who's interested. And then I'm going to put the completed stuff up on Instagram eventually as well, which I have not started yet. And then also I do plan on selling most of the miniatures that I paint. Simply because where I live right now, I just bought a house. Actually moved here with my girlfriend. Moved from another. I changed states. Was able to find a house and buy it, and been here about 3 months now. And my girlfriend broke up with me, basically. So now I'm here by myself, and I need something to occupy my time. She's still here for the moment, but we're basically just roommates now. Until she figures out how to move out. So I don't have anyone to play board games with me. I don't have any friends because I just moved to the area. And this house I love it. It's an amazing house. It's perfect for me, but it's also very small. It's about 640 square feet. So nothing crazy. And I don't have a garage. I do have a basement, which is where I'm storing most of my miniatures right now. But I don't have a ton of space. So if I want to paint every day, which I do, if that's at all possible for me to maintain, I'm only going to be able to do that if I also am offloading a lot of my miniatures. So I do plan on selling most of what I paint on eBay. And we'll see. We'll see if there's a market for it. Supposedly there is. So I will be doing a lot of kind of one-off D&D style miniatures. It's part of the plan, which works for me, because I really like a lot of individual miniatures. I like a lot of the Reaper miniatures and Broken Sword and some of the other companies out there, and I would prefer to just, kind of buy one-offs or big group packs, like the way I just signed up for the Kickstarter from Dungeons and Lasers. They're doing a big D&D kind of character monster pack. It's like 300 miniatures or something like that I ended up getting, which I'm super excited about. Hope you guys can see it. he's looking so far. Okay, let's go back to purple. So yeah, I used to paint miniatures. I first dabbled at this when I was a kid. I had a bunch of board games, so like I had Hero Quest and I had Dragon Strike, the one with the VHS tape. A couple others, Dark World. One of my best friends had the one with the tower, where your guy goes in and you crank the tower and different miniature comes out, and that's your new character. That was pretty cool. And I actually had the Battle Master game too, which is kind of like Proto Warhammer, where it had a big, like 5 foot by 5 foot map that you throw down on the floor, and then it had 2 full armies on trays. And that game was a lot of fun when I was a kid, and I did try to paint some of them, but this was back in like, I don't know, 97, 96. So there was no YouTube, there was no real painting tutorials. I probably didn't prime my first 30 minis that I tried painting. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't very good at it. I got a little bit better at it by the time I was like 13, 14. I was doing some decent painting stuff. And I got into Warhammer a little bit. Collected a small force of Skaven for that, and had them painted up. That was right around the time the hard plastic clan rats first came out. I remember when those came out. I was really excited, and I bought 2 boxes of those, and I had enough for like all the attachment units for that one unit. So I had like a warp fire thrower and 2 assassins, and like 2 wind globe raiders, and that was about it. A couple other characters, a couple of special characters, and that was really fun. And then in high school, I just kind of stopped playing board games and things like that. My artistic interests, I started becoming like more of a drawer. Got really into sketchbooks and comic books, and kind of tried to do that thing for a little while. I wasn't very good at it, but one of my best friends was excellent at it. So, and he's a professional artist now. Still very good. But so I just kind of hung out with him, and he was a big influence on me. And I just wasn't that great at it, which is fine. I still had fun. And I didn't really have any friends that were into kind of the tabletop. Like, none of my friends played D&D or Magic or Warhammer or any of that stuff in high school. I went to a different high school and different group of people than I went to middle school with. In middle school, I played a little bit of like Warhammer and D&D and Magic. And I just kind of never picked it up again. And then I had started very slowly to get back into board games, maybe in like 2018, 2019. So this would have been like 99. So 20 years I didn't touch this stuff. 99 I went to was my freshman year of high school. And I started slowly getting into board games with my girlfriend. We were just kind of looking for something different than like playing a video game together. So we picked up Small World and I don't even remember what else we got to start off. Small World was like the first one that we actually played a good bit of. Yeah, I can't really remember if there's... Picked up a couple others, but I don't think we played them too much. I played lots of board games as a kid, so they were always interesting to me. Part of the reason why I didn't get back into it is when I went away to college, my parents actually moved. They changed apartments while I was gone. They didn't tell me. And they moved all my stuff for me. So I just came back and we were in a different place. And in that process, I lost all of my board game collection. Probably like 20, 30 board games. And all of my miniatures and paints and all that stuff. All the stuff I had painted, it's all gone. I have no idea what happened to it. I never saw it again. So I don't have my first original minis that I painted. I even had I made like a cool little conversion Skaven where I made like a skeleton Skaven, an undead one, that I just kind of kept on my shelf and stuff like that. And I don't know what happened to any of it. It's all gone. Which, nothing I can do about it. It's fine. But I think that's part of the reason why I didn't get back into this stuff when I started going out as an adult and like having my own money and things. I also became a very heavy alcoholic throughout my 20s, and I was just, chasing girls and doing that whole kind of thing. So I'm sure that played a role in there as well. But yeah, and then when COVID hit back in 2020, I was, my parents were high risk for a lot of that stuff. And this is early days, like back in January when COVID first hit. And me and my girlfriend both got laid off from our jobs. And everything shut down. And, my parents were scared because they had pre-existing conditions and stuff. So I went and shacked up with my girlfriend at the time. And she had a tiny little apartment. And there wasn't a lot for us to do in there. Because it was just like a little studio apartment, basically. It's just a bedroom, a kitchen, and a hallway. So we ended up looking into board games because we were shacked up inside all the time. And we didn't have like a lot of video games or anything else to really entertain us there. So I remembered this hobby of miniature painting. Somehow we were doing kind of arts and crafts stuff first. So the first thing we did was a paint by numbers. We ordered some paint by number stuff, sets, I guess, off of Amazon, and just kind of did those. And they were okay. They weren't as good as I remember them as a kid. Felt very, I don't think the lines were created by like real people anymore. It seemed like they were just created by like some crappy Chinese AI. So a lot of the blobs like they were supposed to fill in really didn't make sense. They didn't fit like how you'd stroke a brush or anything like that. And this is, again, I haven't picked up a paintbrush at this time in 20 years. So very awkward. So we did that. It was okay. And then we were looking for something else. And we ended up getting one of those dot paintings where you just take a little, it's like all these little beads, and you stick them on this, like, they come in little bags. So like, this is an A bag, this is a B bag, whatever. And then they give you the sheet of paper and it says, okay, this is where you put the A's, this is where you put the B's. And you basically just pick up these little beads and glue them to this piece of paper. And when it's all done, it looks like a painting, a picture. And that wasn't really what we were looking for either. I don't even think we finished those. We started it, we were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. You know, kind of lame. And I got about halfway through and I was looking up stuff to entertain us. And I rediscovered miniature painting. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to do this stuff. And I looked up, I think it was like the old Cool Mini or Not website, just because that's, I don't know, I just Googled what like miniature painting looks like now. And I couldn't believe how good those things looked. I thought it was fake at first. And I couldn't, because, you know, back when I painted miniatures, there was no shades, there was no triads or anything like that. It was very bare bones. There was some dry, you know, people had figured out dry brushing and like a little bit of layering, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. And there wasn't a lot of, you know, different products available to help you out with it. You were just mixing your own colors and then going. And I couldn't believe the work some of these people were putting out. And then I started looking on Reddit. People were showing off their miniatures, and they looked unbelievable to me. I was like, okay, this sounds fun. And some people there pointed me to Sarastro's painting guides, and he had a bunch of videos about painting zombies for Zombicide. And that had also been recommended to me because it's a lot of minis for a good price. You know, I think I paid $80 for the Zombicide game. And it comes with like 72 minis, I think. And they're zombies, which is great for starters because if you screw up anything, you can just cover it with blood. And I really like board games, and I heard the game was good. So I ordered that and started painting it, and that was kind of my stay-at-home COVID period. I was getting that whole thing done. And we did, between the two, me and her, she did about maybe 10 or 12 minis, and I did the rest, another 50, 60. Got it done in like, I don't know, month or two. I would just sit there paint, and I realized that like I would just sit there painting all day. And I'd still be painting at, 10:30 at night, just going. And I just find the whole process really, really, really satisfying. And yeah. And then we ended up, I lived in New England at the time, and where we were was in Massachusetts, and the COVID restrictions were very, 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 very strict. So after 2-3 months, started to realize, okay, COVID's not really that serious. It's people aren't dropping dead. It's fine. It's okay. And read through some of the plans that they had, at this point, Sweden and other places were already like, yeah, this isn't a big deal. You just need some herd immunity. I was like, okay. Like Florida had completely reopened everything and whatnot. Then I started reading what was going on from the governor, Massachusetts at the time, and they were talking about this like 5-stage rollout plan, which they did, is what they did. And it said right in there, like some of the stuff like restaurants, we both had restaurant workers at the time, wouldn't be allowed to reopen for like at least a year with in-person dining. And I was just like, ooh, that's crazy. That's too much. And we were at the time we were planning on moving to Tennessee anyway. We had already been looking into it. We just weren't planning like a year later. We were going to move down there together, but we were already looking at places and picking out spots and everything. And with all the extra COVID money, because we were on unemployment, we got the extra $600 a week each. We just said, screw it. And we moved down to Tennessee, to Chattanooga. And that was a huge mistake. I am not a fan of that area at all. I'm actually not a fan of Tennessee at all. I think it's one of the most overrated states. Everybody who's from there talks it up, says they love it, all these other things, but they can't actually name anything good about it. And all any of them ever want to do is go on vacation and travel. They can't wait to get out of the state, but they'll never bad talk it. And it's just not, it's a very consumerist mindset, which is not what I was going for. It's still the South, it's still the East Coast. It's not California, but you talk to the locals there, and they all want Tennessee to become more like California instead of more like Texas or Florida, which wasn't the vibe I was going for. They're basically Californians who love guns. Pretty much the only difference. All right, so I got some more of the brown on the mane there. And got some skin lines. So I left that, and I live in the Midwest now, and I am so much happier. I'm not going to say where, but I like the Midwest. Seems like a good mix. Good people, good weather, good land, decent enough jobs, affordable enough. Pretty good all around. My family's originally from the Midwest anyway. I'm not known to them, really. I didn't grow up here or anything. I grew up I'm originally from Boston, where my dad moved after he went to college there. But he's originally from Wisconsin. So, and I have family in Idaho and Minnesota and places like that. So the previous orange is from a Triad. I'm using Reaper paints. By the way, they're my current favorite. I think they're heavily, heavily, heavily underrated. Although again, not an expert painter, but I do like matte. And as far as matte goes, Reaper paints have a nice matte finish and are very affordable. I never hear anybody talk about them or use them really, but I like them. I like them a lot. I like them better than Vallejo. Um, Definitely better than Army Painter, which are the other two brands I've tried. Although I am actually really interested in this new Fanatics line that Army Painter's hyping up. If they can do what they say they can do, they could be a game changer for a lot of people. Really make the hobby a lot more accessible, which is exciting. And it could just be the next big innovation, kind of like how I guess speed paints and contrast paints have gotten really big over the last couple of years. I've never used them, so I don't really plan on using them. I've used inks a little bit. Got a little bit of experience there. That looks like shit. So yeah. If you have any other ideas for what types of content I could do, might be interesting. Again, I want to do painting content, but I'm not the best person to be teaching it. So I want to do more Let's Plays. I want to do live painting videos. I want to be doing some more unusual type minis. So I want to focus also because it's not me trying to like find a niche or anything. I just happen to like more of the less popular stuff. I'm not really into Games Workshop products. I prefer kind of Reaper and more independent stuff when it comes to miniatures. So more of the stuff that I'm gonna, and like board games and things like that, which you don't see as often. So I do think that a lot of the things that you're gonna see me paint, there won't be a ton of other people doing those miniatures. I do not have an airbrush. I do not plan on getting one. I don't have the space for it. Same thing with a 3D printer, at least for now. I'm very interested in the idea of a 3D printer, but I can't imagine having the space for it. Where I currently live, and I did buy this house, so I don't plan on going anywhere. Yeah, so I don't see the 3D printer thing happening anytime soon. If you have any other suggestions, I'm all ears. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Not loving the purple, but yeah, give them a little glaze. So yeah, do individual paintings, do board games. So like, as far as board games go, I'm gonna paint up these two figures right here. Got them primed. I got to dry brush them on, give them a little zenithal. And they're gonna be my two characters for my Frost or Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion campaign, Demolitionist and Void Warden. I probably am not gonna paint that scheme, but that's okay. So that's my first idea, and then I'll do solo plays of going through all of that. When I finish up my Zombicide, I'll plan on doing that. There's a lot you can of missions, a lot of official missions for Zombicide. I think they have something like 100 missions, I want to say, just for Zombicide Fantasy that are official from the developer, between Black Plague and Green Horde and Friends and Foes and Wolfsburg, and the additional missions that they've released online. So right around 100 missions, and they add new ones all the time. So I can definitely put out a lot of content related to that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if anybody's going to watch this. I have 0 subscribers as now. This is going to be my first video. But as I get people, start putting in comments what kind of stuff you want to see, what kind of, if there's any type of miniatures specifically like you'd like to see me paint. You know, I would like to listen. And, you know, produce content that people are excited about. Especially if it's something that nobody else is doing. Right, I need a black. Oh, you know what? No. Actually, I do have some in my palette too. Some pure black. Basing is also not my strong point. I prefer to not do it at all. I just don't like it. I don't know why. I consider it like a different activity. I'm just not interested in it in the same way. Like I'd much rather build it's like terrain to me. But I'm more interested in building terrain than I am in doing terrain on my models. It, I don't know. It's a different thing. So these models all come pre-built on the bases. If I were doing like Games Workshop style models where I had to pick the bases, I would just do clear. I would not. I would not do bases. I think that's really the way to go for a lot of people. Get some nice black claws on there for him. And let's give him some eyeshadow. Mouth a little bit. So this is also pretty small mini, as you can tell. There's my pinky, so just under 2 knuckles. I don't know, it was a little over an inch. Actually, I'm starting to like this guy quite a bit, though. I think he's coming out really well. Except for the purple. I don't like the purple clothing. I like the color. I did too much with it. I'm going to add some black in there. It's too monochrome. So I'm just painting shadows, basically, directly onto the purple with black, which I wouldn't normally do, but with this color purple, it works fine. I don't know why purple and black blend so well, but they do. I like that better. Still not in love with it, but I do like that better. Too much dark up here. Switching palettes for a second because I am going to use metal metallic, steel, gold, Vallejo metal color. I just got these, so I am still learning them. I have not used them a whole lot. My dedicated metal brush. Only had these for about a week, and I'm just starting to experiment with them. So this is supposed to be gold, but it's a very light silvery gold. If you told me this is silver, I would have believed you. So I guess some people take this and mix it with the Vallejo metal copper to get more of the gold effect that most people would expect, but I don't have that color. I just have the gold and the steel and aluminum. Looks gold here. My palette. Not so much on the model. Oh, shit. This is why they tell you to varnish before you do this. Whatever. It's fine. I actually really like that skin. That came out a lot better than I was expecting. It's okay, boy. That's my dog, Rolo. He's the best. I'm gonna make those skulls black. I don't like to use too much of a color palette. So these are what I used here. In Triad. So I had a darker and a lighter brown, darker and a lighter purple, and then Triad on orange, kind of red to orange Triad, which I used for the skin. Brown was for the mane and purple's for the clothes. And then just a metal and a black. And I'll probably I haven't decided what I'm gonna do for the eyes yet. I might give him purple eye. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And that's it. So, was that 8? 8 different bottles, which is still a lot. I try to keep it a little bit unified. You know, if I was doing a much larger miniature, you know, like a bust or something, yeah, okay, I might bust out 50 different colors or something to get it looking as realistic as possible. But something like this, it's okay. Here's some skulls. I could pull out a bone, make it look cool. But now I'm introducing a whole new color onto my miniature for, you know, 2 small details. And I could just, you know, do that. And it looks cool. And now, I mean, he basically has 3 colors on him. 4. Count with the black. And then a little bit of silver. It's supposed to be gold. And that's it. Now, I wouldn't be against having a little bit of, you know what? I got a little bit of red already in my wet palette. Although I think that might be ink. Nah, I'll be alright. I think that's blood red. I like blood red. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if you can see the detail in there. Oh, I just realized this has a zoom function. Yeah. All right. I'm not sure if that's carrying over on the video, but it looks good. I do not have a proper video camera. This is just my phone that I'm recording on, and it's not an iPhone or anything fancy. It's not a real big boy phone. It's just a $200 Walmart phone. I mean, they probably don't even sell it anymore. It was $200 like 3 years ago. One of those Walmart phones. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that on this video. But really happy with. Come on, focus. Let me try unzooming. Mm. Well, that's a shame. This is honestly probably the coolest looking mini I've ever painted. So, ready for that. Okay. So he's basically done as far as painting goes. Got his highlights in, got his eyes done, did his tongue. So I'm going to close up my wet palette. I am going to use a wash, but I do not, I'm not going to use it on him. I use Vallejo Model Wash for dark gray for vehicles. I got this from Vince Venturella as a tip. I use this for black lining. That's pretty much the only thing I use it for. I use it for black lining, and I also used it. I actually didn't use it on him, but I used it like on this guy, just as part of his like zenithal. Like I did a black spray paint, white dry brush, and then some model wash over him just to make him pop. I really like this for black lining. It's not my favorite. I've had better black liners, but I don't know how to recreate them. I mean, basically, my favorite one is to basically use a regular black without shaking the bottle, so that you just get a super heavy level of medium with not that much black in there. And if you can get the consistency right, it's amazing. Lets you draw really sharp, crisp lines. But I haven't been able to experiment with that for a while, so I like this. It's not perfect, but it's subtle. Because what's nice about it is that it goes on black. You can very clearly see where you paint it. And then it kind of fades. It fades into like, it's basically just supposed to make things look wet. And it does a very good job of that. So, doing a little black line underneath things, it works on pretty much every color. So it just makes it easier for me, and I don't have to think about it too much. So it's kind of a one-stop solution that does well enough all the time. The only spot I will just let it kind of go over are the metal parts. And that's mostly because I don't really know what I'm doing with metal. I really don't. I struggle with metallics. So anything that just kind of helps me out there, I appreciate. Did get some coffee staining. That's unfortunate. You know what? There's a lot of little on his purple fabric. I think I might go over that one more time. I think I might actually dry brush and just try to pull just a little bit of those details out. So I'm still not happy with that purple loincloth. It's way too much wash, by the way. I won't use anywhere near that much. Single drop would have been way more than enough. So I'm just giving his mane a very light wash. I'm not like dabbing it on. I'm painting it in between all the individual cracks. Very light, not too heavy over on this side. Should pull some of that. That's it. Hey, Rolo. My dogs are getting active. I just want to do a quick little tweak on his legs here. See if I can glaze over a little bit of that coffee stain. Not the biggest deal in the world. Still looks good. Just bugs me. Oops. I destroyed my dry brush. Let's see if I have any extra crop brushes. I'm sure I do. Alright, here's a crappy little brush. Very, very, very light. White. No. So I'm just dry brushing a little bit of that white brown. it's just to differentiate. Slightly on the cloth there. I think that looks decent. I'm actually going to take a little black too. Because again, I told you I haven't quite figured out metals yet. Just going to try to darken up these raised areas. Just a bit. Very, very, very light. Holding my brush all the way at the end. Yeah. Just, you can't even see it really. It's just giving it just a little bit of texture. Just a little bit right there. There we go. There, so it doesn't look so flat. And that's done. That's a finished mixture. I will do something on the base. I bought this Vallejo diorama earth stuff. I haven't really used it yet, so I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm going to do a little bit more research before I start doing base. I got about 20 miniatures here that are painted, and I need to do the bases on all of them. I've been kind of dreading that. So I will figure that out. But for now, this is the end of this video. It's my first video. If you made it to the end, good for you. I'm amazed. But yeah, my name's Drogs, and I'm going to be doing a painting channel. Yeah, I also have another channel that I've started that where I kind of read the Bible and do a lot of, it's more of a religious discussion. If you're interested in that, you can check that out too. But yeah, this is just going to be a painting and gaming channel. Let's see if we can get a good look at them. Keep it focus. Man, my camera does not focus very well. Oh, it's a shame. I can promise you he looks better than he looks on the video. You can't really see the details or the highlights and like you can't see his eyes or his tongue really. Maybe a little bit there. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed. I had fun making it. I had fun making him, and I had fun making the video. So, yeah, if you made it this far, God bless you. Good for you, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.